this was another terrifying thing at the time, but I had my first kiss on the show.
Did
like
you?
my real first kiss. I just remember everybody, people that were not involved in the scene at all, coming to set to see.
Oh no.
And I just remember Karen Parsons, who played Hillary Banks, Alfonso, just like, and you know, we had our
Legally, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but hey, why not? Basically, at the end of the day, it was crazy. I did not curse. She went nuts. And there were days when we were on the set and she would literally go off on people.
Legally, they probably shouldn't talk about it, but here we are. Tatiana Ali cracked open a secret Hollywood had buried for decades. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't the warm, tight-knit sitcom family fans believed it to be. It was smoke and mirrors. Behind the laughter and high fives was a set fueled by egos, silence, trauma, and power plays that would ruin careers. And it all starts with the so-called Fresh Prince himself. Will Smith didn't even want to be on TV. He was already a Grammy-winning rapper, riding high with DJ Jazzy Jeff. But while the music blasted, the bills piled up. Will spent money like it would never run out. Cars, houses, entourage, the whole celebrity starter pack. But the IRS came knocking hard. A $2.8 million tax bill hit him like a freight train. Suddenly, the fun stopped. Homes were seized, bank accounts drained. His image stayed flashy, but behind the scenes, he was broke and desperate. Quincy Jones threw him a lifeline, a sitcom based loosely on music exec Benny Medina's life. No acting experience, no audition prep, just raw charisma, and a paycheck. Will took the deal. Not for the art, not even for the fame. He did it because the IRS was swallowing him whole. And for the first 3 seasons of Fresh Prince, 70% of every check went straight to the government. He was grinding on set, not to succeed, but to survive. What fans saw as charm, that was hustle. What looked like confidence, that was fear. Every scene was performed under financial pressure, and that pressure started to bleed into everything, including the people around him. Tatyana Ali joined the cast at just 11 years old. She should have been protected, nurtured. Instead, she sensed it early. The tension on set wasn't just adult drama. It was a mood, thick in the air. No one could name, but everyone could feel. That first on-screen kiss she had, supposed to be private, gentle, safe, but castmates showed up uninvited to watch, turning it into a joke. What should have been a quiet rite of passage became public humiliation, but no moment rocked the set harder than what happened to Janet Hubert. To many, she was en vive, strong, elegant, fierce. She lit up every scene with a fire the show desperately needed. But by season 3, she was gone, replaced. No explanation, no goodbye. Just a new face and a vague, creative differences excuse. Janet's reality? A nightmare. While pregnant, she was offered a downgraded contract. Less money, fewer rights, tighter restrictions. She refused, and suddenly, she was difficult. The kiss of death for Black women in Hollywood. She later revealed that she wasn't allowed to work elsewhere, that her voice was shut down. And worst of all, Will publicly blasted her. He called her the Antichrist of their working relationship. Not just privately, on the radio. From that moment, Janet's career flatlined. The phone stopped ringing, the roles disappeared. She became the industry's cautionary tale, not because of behavior, but because she dared to push back. Meanwhile, Alfonso Ribeiro was riding high as Carlton, but the ride didn't last. The role that made him famous also locked him into a box.
The white man dance. Well, I was like, okay, I think this character would absolutely do the white man dance.
Yes.
And I show everybody, and that was it.
They were like,
They were like, you're not doing it. We don't need to see anything else. You're doing that.
Sold.
Sold. You've got the Carlton dance for the rest of your life. You didn't know what you just created, but you will never walk down the street again without someone yelling, do the dance.
He was seen as a punchline, a caricature. Try as he might, he couldn't land serious roles afterward. Casting directors only saw the sweater vest, the dance, the voice. In interviews, Alfonso admitted he was proud of Carlton, but also cursed by him. He'd done serious work before Fresh Prince, but afterward, no one wanted serious Alfonso. They wanted the gag. And when a fan once suggested Tyler Perry might help revive his acting career, Alfonso didn't hesitate. I don't need or want that man to do anything for me. That cold line hit like a slap. It wasn't just shade, it was a message. And Hollywood insiders took note. Back on set, the power dynamics were shifting. Will Smith, once the newcomer, now had weight, influence, leverage. And that power started to show in how decisions were made, including who stayed and who got replaced. After Janet's exit, the tone of the show changed. Aunt Viv became lighter, quieter, less confrontational. Behind the scenes, castmates whispered, morale dipped, and the weight of Will's growing brand started to crowd out everyone else. But Will had demons too. At just 9 years old, he watched his father hit his mother so hard she collapsed. That image stuck. It created a deep need to be in control, to be liked, to never let anyone see him weak. That trauma followed him from the playground to the movie set. That iconic scene, "How come you don't want me, man?" wasn't acting. That was years of pain bursting out. The audience felt it because it was real, but that realness didn't last. As Will's fame grew, the walls came back up. By the 2000s, Will was a global movie star, but the price was heavy. Rumors swirled, secret contracts, strange friendships, mysterious parties. Then came the whispers. Diddy, cameras, compromising situations. Keefe D, linked to the Tupac case, said he saw Will and Jada at Diddy's infamous parties, events known for surveillance, secrets, and leverage. Jaguar Wright spoke up too. Former bodyguards backed her stories. The rumors weren't just wild, they were strategic. People said the parties were filmed, that footage was used to control careers. Then, Will's former assistant Bilal dropped a bombshell. He claimed he walked in on Will and actor Dwayne Martin in a private, intimate situation. Jada called it false and malicious. But something about the response felt hollow. No lawsuit, no cease and desist, just noise and silence. And when the noise grew too loud, Will snapped. At a live event in San Diego, December 2024, he took the mic, furious, unfiltered. "I ain't been in no damn freak-off," he yelled. He cursed. He mocked the rumors about lube at Diddy's house, but the jokes didn't land. The audience didn't laugh, and the internet didn't forget. In trying to kill the fire, he only poured gas on it. The cracks were showing, and the final blow came at the Oscars. Chris Rock, one joke, one slap, and Will's legacy crumbled in real time, in front of the world. That wasn't about the joke. That was years of bottled rage exploding. The trauma, the pressure, the secrets, the silence, all of it unleashed in a moment of madness. The apology came later, but the damage, done. Backstage, Hollywood grew cold. Productions paused. Calls stopped. Studios reconsidered. He was no longer the safe bet, the likable star. He was a liability. That moment revealed what many insiders had whispered for years. Will's image wasn't real. It was built, managed, fragile. Meanwhile, Janet Hubert's redemption arc began. The 2020 reunion brought her face to face with Will after nearly 30 years of silence. Tears were shed, apologies made. Will admitted he'd been immature, that he didn't understand the weight of his words. Janet forgave, on camera, but off camera, the wounds were deeper. Even Alfonso skipped the part of the reunion where Janet appeared. Scheduling conflict, he claimed, but fans weren't buying it. The fractures were still there, just hidden beneath nostalgia and studio lighting. And Tatyana? She spoke more openly as an adult, about being a child in a grown-up world, about what was lost, what was ignored. She praised the good, but she didn't deny the pain. Her honesty reminded fans that even in comedy, harm can happen. So what about the others? Joseph Marcel, Geoffrey the Butler, went back to Shakespeare, stage work, his passion, but nowhere near the limelight. Daphne Maxwell Reid, the second Aunt Viv, kept working, but never escaped the shadow of Janet's legacy. And DJ Jazzy Jeff, he stayed in music, building a career quietly, far from the drama of Hollywood sets. Hillary, played by Karen Parsons, largely stepped away from acting. She started a foundation to teach kids African American history, quietly building something meaningful off screen. She once said that Fresh Prince was a dream, but the dream didn't last. After the final credits rolled, the doors didn't open. Not for her, not for most of them. And then there was James Avery, Uncle Phil, the anchor, the moral center. When things on set got tense, he was the one who tried to keep it grounded. He took the craft seriously. He took family seriously. He once told Will, "You have no idea how good you are." But he also reminded the younger cast that fame was fleeting, that the work, not the spotlight, was what mattered. When he passed away in 2013, the cast mourned publicly, but insiders say that even in his final years, James felt sadness about how divided the Fresh Prince family had become. He watched the reunions, the gossip, the drama, and he knew the show may have changed their lives, but it also left wounds that never fully healed. But there was one cast member whose shadow lingered, even though she was never officially on the show. Jada Pinkett. The woman who became Mrs. Smith didn't just marry into the legacy, she reshaped it. From the outside, they looked like Hollywood royalty, but insiders always said there was a chill between Jada and the Fresh Prince cast. She wasn't part of the original run, but her influence behind the scenes, massive. Jada was fiercely independent, raised by a single mother, friends with Tupac, a bond so deep, Will admitted it made him jealous. That tension never went away. Will saw Tupac as everything he wasn't, raw, fearless, unfiltered. He once said he couldn't even speak to Tupac, couldn't bring himself to engage. That insecurity, it festered for years. And when Jada started her Red Table talk show, she flipped the script. Suddenly, Will's most painful moments were on display. The entanglement episode went viral for all the wrong reasons. Millions watched Will's face crack as Jada described a relationship with singer August Alsina. She never called it cheating. She called it healing. But viewers saw a broken man. Memes exploded. Will crying. Will slumped. Will silent. It wasn't just a hit to his marriage. It was a hit to his brand. The unshakable Fresh Prince suddenly looked human and hurt. And the irony, he sat through it, allowed it, because even in that moment, Will was trying to control the narrative. But you can't control the internet. The fallout was brutal. Rumors of an open marriage spiraled. Every red carpet became a guessing game. Are they really still together? Is it all for show? Hollywood quietly distanced itself. The same machine that made Will a star started treating him like a liability. Not because of the slap, not even because of Jada, but because he no longer controlled the narrative. And then came the reboot. Bel-Air, a darker, grittier version of the original sitcom. Will produced it, pushed it, sold it as a love letter to the legacy, but fans saw it differently. To some, it felt like damage control, a way to reframe the Fresh Prince story on Will's terms. No goofy Carlton, no big laugh Uncle Phil. This time, it was trauma forward, pain, anger, class divide, family dysfunction, a mirror of Will's real life told through fiction. Some called it bold, others called it revisionist. Either way, it showed one thing clearly. Will Smith wasn't trying to escape his past, he was trying to rewrite it. But the rebrand didn't stop the bleeding. If anything, it exposed more wounds, because behind the scenes, Will was crumbling. Friends said he'd become obsessed with legacy, that he couldn't stand how fast the internet turned on him. Every rumor, every meme, every joke, it chipped away at the image he had spent decades building. And Hollywood noticed. The man who once opened summer blockbusters with ease suddenly saw doors close. Netflix projects were paused. A biopic he was set to produce vanished from trade reports. Brand deals gone quiet. All because the public was no longer sure who Will Smith really was. And neither was he. But it wasn't just about Will. The entire Fresh Prince cast, the living ones at least, became symbols of what Hollywood does when it's done using you. Once the credits rolled, most were forgotten. Not because they lacked talent, but because the machine only has room for one star per show, and Will made sure that was him. The truth is, the show was never built to last. Not emotionally, not spiritually. It was built on survival. Will needed the checks. Alfonso needed the visibility. Tatyana needed the launch pad. Janet needed the respect. And the studio, they just needed ratings. No one was looking out for each other, and when tensions rose, no one knew how to fix it because no one could afford to speak up. And even now, decades later, the wounds remain. Tatyana once said in an interview, "We smiled a lot on that set, but smiling isn't always joy." Alfonso's stand-up clips mocking Janet, still out there. Janet's interviews about being blackballed, still painful. Will's slap, still unforgettable. And Jada, still talking, still digging, still unpacking, while Will remains mostly silent, performing apologies and repackaging vulnerability, hoping it's enough to rebuild. But there's something deeper that no one wants to say out loud. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was never just a show. It was a mirror. A black success story wrapped in comedy. A sanitized version of pain and power struggles dressed up in pastel sweaters and catchphrases. It made us laugh. It made us feel seen. But it also made us look away. Away from the contracts that kept actors silent, away from the trauma that was never treated, away from the moments that crossed the line and got edited out of memory. And now, there's no laugh track, just echoes. You can still hum the theme song, you can still quote the jokes, but you can't unsee what's come to light. You can't unhear the pain in Janet's voice, or watch Will cry without remembering the entanglement, or look at Alfonso without wondering if he ever really healed. It's not about canceling anyone. It's about finally acknowledging the truth, that Hollywood eats people alive, that fame is a mask, and that behind every nostalgic sitcom is a room full of people trying not to drown. So what now? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Maybe you'll just watch reruns differently. Maybe you'll stop sharing those Carlton dance memes. Maybe you'll see Will's next movie and wonder what he's hiding behind that smile. Or maybe you'll finally understand that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't a fairy tale. It was a warning. If this shook your memory of Fresh Prince, or if you ever wondered what was really going on behind those mansion walls, drop a comment and tag someone who still sings that theme song like it's gospel. Don't forget to subscribe, because what's coming next makes this story look tame.